I remember that day like it was yesterday, a crisp morning full of promise, as I settled into my first-class seat on a flight to Toronto. The plan was simple: sip some calming tea, kick back, and mentally prepare for a presentation that could redefine the future of North Star Airlines. Little did I know that flight would become so much more than just a journey. As I nestled into my seat 2A, I admired the plush surroundings, my well-earned refuge from the chaotic world outside. My attention shifted from the cabin crew prepping for takeoff to a middle-aged white man who waddled down the aisle obliviously. He approached my seat, irritation flickering across his face like a cheap light bulb. And right there, in a moment that felt almost surreal, he said it, "I'm in 2A, sweetheart, so you need to move." At first I thought maybe I misheard him, maybe he was kidding. But the dismissive tone, it was like a slap. I shifted in my seat, reminding myself to breathe. The arrogance dripped from his words, an entitlement that flowed without any thought of who I was, or worse, who he assumed I was. "You people always think you can just take what isn't yours," he scoffed, casting judgment that dripped with condescension. The real kicker, I could see it on his face, this sense of superiority, this unfounded belief that his privilege afforded him not just the window seat, but a place to belittle me. I could feel my blood boiling, but instead of letting it explode, I kept my cool. "I'm Amamira Lewis, CEO of North Star Airlines, a job title that I fought tooth and nail for, only to be reduced to just another passenger by a man who saw me as less than." He had no idea. As I unbuttoned my blazer, letting my confidence ooze out, I looked at him with a calmness that masked a storm. "Actually," I said, all crisp and collected, "you're seated in 2B. His demeanor shifted like a tectonic plate. The confusion was palpable. He stood there, caught between disbelief and anger. "No, I'm pretty sure it's this seat," he replied, eyes narrowing, convinced he had dimensional superpowers to make his delusions come true. "Only if you like sitting next to a stranger," I replied, the corners of my mouth turning up just slightly. Inside, I was swirling with irritation and disbelief. But I wasn't letting him see me sweat, no way. He continued to belittle me, peppering our conversation with snippets about how equality was overrated and how corporate structures were meant to maintain order, not disrupt it. As if he owned not just the seat, but the very concept of societal harmony. But here's the thing about being underestimated: you get to keep your cards close to your chest. Use your skills, your innovations like the Silent Comet, our new in-flight technology designed for handling disrespectful situations. It soothes flames before they become wildfires. I calmly initiated the protocol while he rambled, and soon enough his Wi-Fi slipped away. The transformation was fascinating. One moment he was this self-assured blowhard, and the next a flustered toddler lost in the aisles, fumbling for a toy that evaporated into thin air. Just as the final threads of his dignity began to unravel, the VP of Operations, Alex, strolled over, exuding professionalism like a seasoned diplomat. "Excuse me, sir," he began, tone steady, "but I need you to return to your assigned seat immediately," he declared, a gentle but firm hand guiding him backwards. It was like watching a balloon deflate slowly, the weight of his entitlement crumpling under the cool authority of Alex. And just like that, I was free. He was becoming visible by how invisible he had made me feel. The entire cabin held its breath. Some were secretly cheering, while others simply looked on in disbelief. As the flight progressed, that small clash amplified upon landing. News outlets picked up a story, hashtags began circulating like wildfire, and before I knew it, social media buzzed with the incident. My phone buzzed nonstop. There was satisfaction in seeing him pay a price for his arrogance, a corporate termination issued under the harsh glow of public scrutiny. But I chose not to bask in the light of my victory. Instead, I viewed it as an opportunity, a chance to change the narrative around flying, to teach respect, and to promote inclusivity within North Star Airlines. I gathered my team and began working on training initiatives. People like him were not just exceptions, they reflected larger social biases. I wanted our employees and passengers to engage in conversations about respect and how we could dismantle these prejudices together. As the weeks passed, my experience became a reminder, not a trophy. I framed my boarding pass from seat 2A. It hung on my office wall, a reminder that no one has the right to erase another's worth, and how crucial it is to stand up against discrimination. How about you? Have you ever experienced something similar? A moment where someone underestimated you, belittled you, or made you feel small. I want to hear your story. Share your experiences in the comments below because every voice counts, and together we can pave the way for a future that embraces respect and inclusivity. And remember, sometimes the biggest battles aren't just about winning, but about changing the system and the people around us. Let's spark that conversation. Join me in the comments, share your thoughts, and let's make a difference together.